Alright. Just kidding, folks. A little April Fool's humor there. Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to an exciting episode of The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm your host, Michael, hanging out as always with my awesome co host, Carla.
What's up, guys?
So, today's show is going to be a flip for a lot of you that watch the Mad G Smack Talking or Talking Smack show because we are actually interviewing them tonight.
Hey, George.
Michael.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having us on. Super excited.
Yeah. So, fun little fact. One of the reasons why the intro launched differently is because the network isn't being aired tonight. We are strictly on our own.
I was wondering why we had the old intro.
Yeah, I was like, because the screen jumped on me, and our comment section is going off the charts tonight.
What's up, guys? I see y'all out there. What's up, Linda?
4 a.m. She messaged you that.
Awesome. My peeps.
Hey, Annette.
Hey, Annette.
Annette.
Hey.
Let's see. We got Sherry's in the house.
Sherry.
All kinds of people.
God, we're gonna spend like 5 minutes if I start going through this entire
Right.
list.
Debbie, Kimmy,
Wow.
Kathy.
Hey, Ghost Geeks is in the house.
Yay.
What's up, Debbie?
Right on, right
How
on.
you doing? How you doing?
Linda.
Yeah, hold up.
Let's see. Trying not to skip anyone saying hey.
Kimmy. Kathy.
Wow.
Annie. She went with us this weekend. She was with us this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. All right. I thought the name looked familiar. I was like, it's hard to put a face when there are these little circles. So, how's
Right
it going?
on.
Melissa, that's my sister. Missy.
For you,
How
Carla.
you doing?
I'm sorry.
I said, this one's for you, the comment.
Awesome intro.
Awesome intro, guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Johnny.
Yeah, so for all of you who like our intro, that was Carla's handiwork. She put that together.
That was awesome. Scary music. Creepy people.
You had me at Black Eyed Kids. You had me at Black Eyed Kids. I was like, ooh. Black Eyed
I
Kids.
know, George. It's one of those where some of our intros will have it, some of it won't. It's because it's one of those hard topics to discuss because there's not really a lot of people out there that will say, hey, I'm an expert on the black-eyed children.
Right.
It sounds like a rock band.
I know.
Right. Hello, we're the Black Eyed Kids. The Black Eyed Kids.
Anthony.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Anthony,
Maddy,
what's up?
Yes.
tell us, where did you come up with Mad G talking smack?
So I have this club, like a little get together club at where I work at, and me and George were there, and we're like, man, let's do this. We were talking about it for a while, and we're like, let's do it, and we'll just be us and BS. And one of our buddies was there, and he goes, yeah, you could call it Mad G talking smack. And I was all like, George,
Fun.
that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah, because we were like, okay, we're gonna have to come up with a name and this and that. And this dude came up with it, and we're like, okay, Maddie, right? Madeline.
Yep.
And then the G is George. And we talk smack, man. We talk smack. And we ain't afraid to do it.
Love it.
I
No.
want to crack it up because I just now put that together.
There you go.
I honestly thought it was like some reference to music or something. Mad G.
No, it's us.
Oh,
Let's
we
hear
thought it
Johnny's
fun.
comment. Dead deer.
how you come up with a dead deer production?
Oh. Adam's not gonna like this one. So Adam loves animals. He's very
Me too.
Oh my
might
God.
not like it either.
Yeah, Carla. So we were at Gonzalez, the jail. It was on Halloween night, and we had gone to do an investigation. And me and Adam had to come back early. They got to spend the night, but we had to come back early because we had to work the next day. So we're driving back, and what jumps out? A pretty little deer. And I slammed on the brakes, and I missed him, right? So I was all like, oh my God. And Adam was just in shock because he doesn't play around with any of that. And he was like, I didn't mean to, I wasn't like, yeah, damn deer. It wasn't like that. Well, then the next week, I think the next weekend, me and George went out to on the outskirts of San Antonio to Floresville, Texas, and we're driving back, and doesn't another damn deer
Seriously.
sashay? And I don't mean he like right. No, he just walked and there I am. And he got, man, if I stuck my hand out the window, what, Georgie?
You could have slapped it on the ass.
Oh,
And so we're like, damn. So we said, George came up with that one. He's all, what about
wow.
Dead Deer Productions? Because
I know when I saw that the first time, I'm thinking, I hope there's not a story behind that.
No, that was it. That was it. But no deers were hurt. I saw each
In the making of this production.
No deers were harmed.
That's
That's
right.
funny. Johnny says the deer or Maddie.
And it was just the weirdest thing. How does that happen in 1 week? It was like they were out to get me, man. They were aiming for me. I wasn't aiming for them.
They
They got
you were
together.
another deer. They get crazy when they're mating.
And they got together, had a meeting, and said, "All right, that one."
I could see that. I could see that meeting. There's a bunch of deer. One of the deer with the clipboard. So this week we're going after Maddy. Okay, guys, this is the girl. Here's a picture of her. Go after her.
Oh, gosh.
Better yet, George, they probably were sitting there going, all right, last week you two did great. This week you two get a bonus. Adam's in the car. Really go and get that one.
They took my license plate down and everything, man. No, so that's where that came from.
It's like that scene
amazing.
from John Wick when he sends the text. All this, only this one, all the deer get a text. Get ready.
Like, lock and load, boys. She's on the road. She's at 10.1.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is I rarely see deer on the road. And when I was driving back from Mineral Wells a few times, I actually seen deer off to the side, and I'm like, please stay where you are. Please stay where you are. Please stay where you are.
Yeah. If it's at night, they will follow those headlights. I've had them follow headlights for a good long while because I have land, and when I'm driving back at night, if they're on the side, they will come out to the side of the road and they will follow right along those headlights. And I don't know why, but they do. It's craziness.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
We got a lot of deer out here, too.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
I hate to say it, but venison is good meat, though.
Yeah, it is.
Not that way.
Hey,
Talk about fresh, though.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
you ain't wrong, man. You ain't wrong. It's like hit it and cut off a steak. Sorry, guy, I'm gonna cut a steak.
We're like, we'll save what meat we can, and we'll let the coyotes have the rest.
Right. But that's how the story came to be. I mean, that's how the Dead Deer Productions.
That was it.
Wow.
Wow. So, have you guys always been podcasting first, or were you paranormal investigators first and then podcasting second?
I again at my job, I had a Sixth Sense Paranormal come through, and they're this awesome ghost hunting team here, or ghost paranormal investigators here in San Antonio, and I was just starstruck, man. I was starstruck. I never thought I'd meet any people like this, and I was just so into it. And George came out to see them, and we started talking, and I said, hey, would you like to come out? Would you like to come out and put on another? Because, man, the numbers were like, because there was so many people interested in paranormal and paranormal investigating. They wanted to see the evidence. They wanted to hear the evidence. So George had the same, the same thing going on. And I said, hey, you want to come out? And we got each other's numbers, and that was it. I mean, we are the bestest of bestest. Like, he's the male Maddy. I'm the female Georgie. That's us, man. Yeah. That's us.
That's great.
Lately, dude, we've been finishing each other's sentences. We already know what we're gonna say, and it's just crazy. It's crazy.
That's great.
It was just great.
It's scary. No,
yeah.
I'm even when she says something, I'm even turning her, looking at her, and going, "Yes, dear." Yes.
Seriously.
I feel you, George.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, ever since then, we've been ghost hunting. He took me to the first investigation for my 40th birthday. He goes, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go. We took my whole it's not a class. It was like a meetup kind of thing. He took them all out there, and the weirdest thing happened because he wanted to meet at this one mission, and there's two missions really close together. Right. So he wanted to meet at one, and I said, okay. Well, I told everybody to meet up at the other one, and in my head, that was where we were supposed to meet. That was it. Like, I heard him say what he said, but for some reason, it got stuck in my head that it was the other one, and I went and I told everybody.
I'm sorry, Johnny's commenting.
Yes, it was 30. So we went out there, and doesn't he call me and say, oh, I'm waiting for y'all. I go, we're all here. I go, we're over here. And he goes, wait, where are you at? So somewhere in there, it got miscommunicated, but I believe that we were supposed to be at the place we're supposed to be at, because we ended up at Mission Espada, and we caught, for my first investigation, all of us caught so much evidence of EVPs.
Wow.
And it was just like, oh my God, happy birthday to me. Forget all of y'all. Happy birthday to me. No, I love each and every one of them. And we all went out there and we had a great time. And George is the one that got me into actually going out and going to these locations. And, he was like, let's go. I said, let's go. So we've been doing that ever since.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So how did you even get into the field? I mean, not even the field. What even drew your attention to the paranormal? Either of you.
Well, a friend of mine called me up and said, hey, there's this woman, her house has got some activity. My very first investigation, April 2009. Okay. We went out to her house, not knowing. I mean, I was so green, I didn't even know what I was doing. It was. So, but I had a camcorder with night vision, and I had a MP3 player with the little speaker on the side. I mean, the little microphone, and I used that, and I got my first EVPs. But I had been dealing with the paranormal my whole life. I just been dealing with it. I grew up in a family where we knew that things happened that didn't have that didn't have explanations, and it was okay to know that. Because my grandmother, this sweet old lady, she would, like, we'd be in her house and the light in the hallway would turn on. The hallway that's right behind me, the light would turn on, and we'd be like, Grandma, the light turned on. And she's like, don't worry, mijo, it's my ghost. It'll go off in a minute. And it turned off. The light would turn off. And it was It was an old light switch that you had to like. Remember the ones that would pop when you turn?
Yep.
Pop,
Yep.
pop. It was those, and you could hear it click, click. So I've been dealing with it my whole life, but just like I said, April of 2009 was a starting point for paranormal investigating.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and Maddie's heard my very first EVP that I ever got. I still have it, Maddie. I played it for Maddie, and
Dang.
it sounds like a transgendered woman saying hi, and she had to be so close. I mean, she must have been right in front of me because it was
Wow.
so loud and so clear. And so yeah, that's how I got into it.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. And it's weird because in my family, we always talk about ghosts and we always know about the paranormal. And it's like there's the family members that are scared and there's the family members that aren't. And
Mhm.
there's the people like, people in my family like me that were just so intrigued. And I love superstition, omens, anything like that. I love. And in my family, it's thick. We know what we know because we see the signs.
Got
The
it.
only thing is, like George always says, once you know it, you can't forget it. So it can be scary at times, and it can be happy at times. So it's always cool. So growing up, we just had that in our life, and I never knew until I was like in my 30s that people didn't believe in ghosts. I mean,
Mhm.
I saw movies, I saw, where the people are like skeptics and stuff, but I just thought, oh, it's a movie. But when people started saying, this, and I go, well, that's kind of sounds like the way I am about Bigfoot. I don't really believe in Bigfoot. I'm not saying he's not real. Like, he could be real. I don't know, but I've never seen him for myself. I've never seen anything. Well, people are thinking this way of the paranormal, right? Like the ghosts. And I'm
Exactly.
like, what? It was just baffling to me, man. I was just like, wow, because it's so instilled in us in the family and in our culture and in San Antonio, man. It's just so thick. It's so thick. But again, you got your skeptics but for me, I feel like some people don't want to believe because they're scared. So it just comes down to, well, just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean it's not real.
Right.
Right.
Or
Because
just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's.
right, exactly, like me with Bigfoot. There's aliens as well, and that scares the shit out of me for some
Mhm.
reason. I'm sorry, that scares me to death, and it just makes me feel like they're if I'm this scared, I feel like it's real. Because could you imagine what we would do, and probably what we have done to aliens if we got a hold of them?
Oh
What are
yeah.
they going to do to us? What are they going to
Exactly.
do to us?
They're like, oh, payback time's coming.
Yep.
Right.
And
Right. We know what we're capable of.
Yeah.
So who knows what they're capable of? And I'm just scared. But I know some people say there's nothing to be scared of. And it freaks me out when people say, I want to go. Like, I have a buddy, Rob, and he's just like, man, take me. I want to go. I want to see what's over there. And I'm like, hell no, you go home.
Take your phone with, take a lot of photos, put it
Yeah.
Holla. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, but you know what? It's actually nice having a skeptic or two on an investigation
right.
because they're almost like the
comic relief sometimes. How they
no,
react.
not comic relief, but
They
they're almost like a
want to make fun.
a balance of some
I get you.
sometimes because they could also be the first to debunk.
Right. Yes.
Right.
That's the
And
sad
you have to be. Me and George talk about that all the time. You have to be a little bit skeptical because if not, then everything's a ghost, right?
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Everything you hear, everything, there's something. And then, you try and rule out everything first. And if you can't, this is like, well,
What's
that's
that
probably
saying from?
Right.
There was a saying from Sherlock Holmes said something about however, if you've ruled everything out that's possible, then whatever I think is probable or improbable. I can't remember exactly how it said, but basically he's saying, when you've ruled everything out, no matter how wild it is, it has to be the truth.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If you
Yep.
have ruled everything out, like,
Yep.
why is there a voice in this room when the room is locked? And nobody was around. Well, there's nobody around, so it must be something else.
Mhm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to look up that quote because it's one of my favorite quotes. But getting old, it kind of eludes me sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
I know it too, and there's been several renditions of it because
Yeah.
I've also heard the one that says when you're presented with all the evidence, and if the evidence points to one thing, but your logic and everyone's responses is saying something else, you have no choice but to go where the evidence goes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Because I mean, that's really what it's all about is evidence. I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that happen that your mind only knows what it has um, experienced, right? And so things that you haven't ever experienced, your mind is going to put you on a certain path. And unless you can like drop the walls and open up your mind to completely different things, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
you have a tendency to, it's just like, I can't even wrap my head around that. Well, just because you can't do that doesn't mean that there isn't something
Going
out there
on.
that we haven't had experiences with.
No,
Yeah.
and you're right. And I feel like the more I've been hanging out with George and doing not and doing all the paranormal stuff, the more I'm starting to hear things, and the more I hope to one day see something, and I just want to know that there's a heaven. I want to know that there's or an afterlife, if not heaven, an afterlife, because I don't want this to be it. I don't want because this isn't fun. This isn't fun. This isn't happy.
I want a do-over.
I want a
There's
vacation next to one.
more than this. So that's why I want to know so badly,
Yeah.
And I've seen not seen physically like apparitions or anything, but I've seen in life things start to unfold, and it's like shit. This can't be a coincidence,
Yeah.
Yeah. We had somebody that taught us a lot of stuff in the metaphysical and the more outskirtish type sciences. And what she told us was you could walk outside with a group of 20 people. There could be a UFO hovering 3 feet above the ground, and maybe only 3 people will see it. And
Right.
she says it's not because the 3 people are the only ones that can see it. It's because the other 17 don't have in their mind the capability to grasp there's a UFO 3 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like people that do things, I guess people that you would say back in the day were weird. I know we don't use that word anymore, but strange people, their minds are more open, because how many psychics do you see that think outside of the box as far as sexuality? Or I've met a lot and it's like, you know why I think you have this gift? It just because of this, but it has something to do with your mind is so open to loving more than one way, you know? And when people have just that, like you said, open mind, you know, you see a homeless person talking to something. Who's to say there isn't something there?
Right.
Or just maybe there's not a homeless person, maybe just a regular person, and they're talking to something that's not there. But their mind is more open because it's different than ours. And that's not proven, that's not nothing, that's just my opinion sometimes when I see things like that, you know? Not something.
But look, take it one step, what you're saying, take it one step further. This is why children can see and feel and experience stuff way more than we're all tainted with this is the way you're supposed to think. And they're like brand new. Everything's an open book.
Right. No, that's true. That innocence, that they're not conditioned and they're not. So what Mike's saying too, and also you, Miss Carla, that they're not directed. Their mind's trying to make sense of it, and most people will just find what they feel is a logical solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I share a story with y'all, if I may? A real quick story. I got a great niece. She's 5 now, but when she was about 3, she walked in this kitchen, and she was looking up at the corner of the kitchen, and she's going, "Hi, hi," and I turned and I was like, "Hi." So I started doing it too. "Hi, hi," and she just kind of smiled and giggled and turned around and walked away. And I didn't want her to feel that maybe that was strange. So, but right after she left, I said, "Listen here, you, whoever you are, whoever you are, you need to play nice because you don't want me mad at you." And I swear, I felt somebody slap me on the back of the head. And I was like, "Oh, it's my sister." Okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, it was my sister. It was my sister. But yeah, I mean, I'm not ever gonna put I don't ever want to do that to a child where it's like, you know, oh, look at that odd, strange behavior or something like that. You know, I got into an argument one time at a gas station with the guy that said Santa Claus wasn't real. By the time we were done, he wanted to fight.
Oh my God.
And I was like, he told the cashier, Santa Claus isn't real. And there were kids behind him.
Oh,
and I turned and I looked at him and I told him, I'm like, you know, Santa Claus is real. And he turned to me and he tells me, F you. And I looked at him and I said, that's why Santa Claus doesn't come to your house. And I turned around, I looked at the kids and I smiled, and they were laughing, and I walked away. But he was like, he was so mad after that. He wanted to, you know, try and throw down, and I was like, bring it, big boy, let's do this. I got Santa Claus on my side. Who do you got on your side?
Krampus.
But, yeah, it's funny because kids, you know, think a certain way and they're so pure. Yeah, I can see. I would never do anything to harm that thought process. Yeah, I want kids to stay kids as long as they possibly can. And in this day and age, that's so hard. You know what I mean?
Well, look at all the times that you hear the stories about children in their playrooms with imaginary friends. And it's just like, now that I've been in the paranormal for a while, I think back on that and I think, you know, it's probably not an imaginary friend.
Right. They're actually seeing somebody there. Yeah. And how many times is that imaginary friend? They're like, what does that imaginary friend look like? Like the picture on the wall, and it's like great grandma, you know, or something like that. And how awesome is that? Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Protect
You know what I was thinking for you, George, when you were saying I got Santa Claus on my side? I was picturing the angel and the devil on the shoulders, and you got the angel Santa Claus and the devil Krampus. Like, wow, cool. Which one do you want to come pay you a visit?
Right. Krampus lost that day, man. He did. Santa Claus won.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Who's in the chat room here? Any
Let's
fans?
see, there's
Any
and Adam's charming up all the ladies.
Hey, Adam.
Oh my goodness.
Poor guy.
Oh, Adam's probably gonna smack me for that one later because
And
oh, that's right.
Happy
It
full
is that full
moon,
moon.
Mel.
Mel.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Now, one time we did an investigation over with Mel, and I've always wanted, and I think we tried it this weekend, Carla, the knock thing, where
Yeah.
you knock, right? You say, if you're here, can you knock like this?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I ever had that happen, was at Mel's, over at Mel's. And it was just like, oh my God. And then after that, it wouldn't stop. It like, you kept hearing it, but in different places in the house. So you could think, oh, maybe it was just a pipe, going, or some, the dog scratching or something like that. But no, it would happen here and here and here. And it was just awesome and wild. And
That's crazy.
That was a good night. That was a very good night.
Dang. Where were you at?
we were at one of her friends' houses, and we were just, trying to see what was up, because her friend, was feeling stuff happening and hearing sounds and stuff. And sure enough, and I think George caught some EVPs that night too, of a little girl, right?
Yeah, of a little girl. A little girl talking. All right. But I heard the little girl, but then I caught it on the voice recorder as well. So it was yeah, that was an interesting investigation. Not scary, interesting. Just the stuff that was caught was very interesting.
Wow.
And the feet, there was a point where you could hear, those patent leather shoes that we used to wear when we were little. That's what it sounded like. And they had tile in the house. So I didn't hear it with my naked ear. George can hear everything. But on the recorder, you could hear like tick, 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 like she was running around. And that was just cool. That was really neat.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So I got an interesting question for you both. What location have you investigated or been to that actually surprised you the most with what happened?
It would have to be a Spada mission, because you know what? Y'all are gonna think I'm so silly. Remember, I was a rookie. I'm still a little bit of a rookie. It was the daytime. So I was like, we're not gonna catch nothing because it's daytime. And we were out there, and George heard somebody go like that. And I go, I didn't hear nothing, I didn't, that we had people with us, but we were like really far because we all spread out so that we wouldn't, catch each other. And I go, no, man, I don't hear nothing, because I'm not going to lie to him, because then I feel like it's going to mess up the whole thing, what we're trying to do, right? I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I heard it too, So I'm just like, yeah, I didn't hear it, man. And so he even walked from where we were to where the fire people were and said, did one of y'all go clear your throat? And no. So I marked the time, and we went straight to a Bill Miller's. and we started reviewing the evidence, and we had it marked, and we fast forward the tape because we wanted to, or the audio, because we wanted to see what it was. And he was asking questions like, are you a little girl? Do you like to play here? And at the point where he heard that, you hear her go, mm-hmm.
Really?
But to him, it sounded like, you know?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And it was just wild. And it was outside. And I know land is haunted, but at that point, I was like, we have to be in a building, and we have, so that's why I was so surprised. And we've gone back a couple of times and gotten the same area, and got the same results. And George always hears something out there.
We were there one night, and one evening, and the people, the astronomers were out at this place, and but we were far from them, and I asked Maddie to ask a question in Spanish because I don't speak Spanish, and she was like, "Well, what question?" And I said, "Like, how old are you?" And before they answered her asking it, we got an EVP that must have been like, they must have been standing in front of the voice recorder, and you hear 9, and it's like, well, there you go, they're 9 years old, But,
and this was out in a field. It wasn't even.
Yeah, it was in the open.
No structure had been there, unless it was not recorded, because it's a mission, a Texas mission.
Yeah, so it was a. You never know when you're gonna get or where you're gonna get EVPs, but we got to. I mean, that EVP was. I mean, it was very clear, 9, and it's like, wow, okay, you're 9 years old. I'm very interested in the mission life, like how the life was back then, because there were still Indians running around, and Comanche, and I forgot what the other tribe was, but and just the missions, of course, were forts. They were actual forts to guard against attacks. So you're gonna have death there. You're gonna have just craziness going on. But yeah, that's one of the EVPs I remember we got out there.
We had another cool thing happen. He kept hearing something, and I love the flashlight. You know that, girl. I love the flashlight. And
That's right.
It wasn't the one that was used this weekend, but we did use a different one. It was the same kind of twisty, and we had it on. It was like a little bridge, and it had metal railing. So we put it on there, and I go, "Hey, George, let's see what's up." And so we start talking, and I start talking. We tried Spanish, of course, English. Well, the only thing that George knew in French, he said, and the light went on like that.
Really?
Yes.
I love it when the light. I just love using the flashlight.
Yes, it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It was just out of this world. And there was like some French conquistadors that had gone over, been in that area at the time, but we didn't know. So he just happened to try that out, and it went. It was just crazy.
Yeah. Jeez. Talking about the daytime stuff, it's amazing how much activity you can get during the day.
A lot of activity. A lot.
Yeah. I know that a lot of people, I mean, granted, depending on where you're at and what you're doing, it could be noisier. Like, people are up, people are moving around, people are in other rooms and stuff. So there's more chance. But if you're out in a field or if you're out in an abandoned place, it doesn't matter if it's day or night.
Maddie and I went out to this place called the Aqueducts. It's an old aqueduct where water still runs through it, It's how all the missions or whatever got their water. But we did an EVP session out there, just very impromptu, nothing structured. And we asked the question if he could come and talk to us. And you hear a male, I think he said no. And it's like, okay, well, that was no, that was an intelligent answer. It was a one-word answer, but it was no. And then we did another EVP session about 10 minutes, 20 minutes later. And we asked, why can't you come and talk to us? And when we played it back, it said, because I'm working. And it's like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, well, quit talking to me and get to work then, man. Yeah, I mean, it's very, I mean, we weren't expecting that at all. Like I said, it was a very, very impromptu EVP session. And we'll do that at places, just be like, EVP session? Yeah, okay, let's do an EVP session.
Do it.
Yeah.
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 I think that's a good tool to use almost like right off the bat, just to see if there's anything there, you get any type of response.
Right. And you can tell the difference, between some like if it's Mike, right? Mike off in the distance. One, his voice, but they just have that in a can. It sounds to me like they're in a can or in a hollow room. And I know sometimes it sounds like just another person. Georgia showed me some EVPs where I'm like, no, I didn't hear nothing. And he's like, the one that said this and that. And I was like, yeah, that was clear as day. That's somebody in there, right? And he's all, no. And I'm like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Like that. And then there's just some, it's just some people hanging out,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I love about the EVPs is when you're reviewing them, I like to get the before and after because I feel like you make a good point of if we heard it, you know we would respond to it. So I always love when I get like, okay, I'm doing this, and then you hear like maybe a female say hi, and you keep going, you're going, well, I guess I'm moving on. You obviously did not hear that hi, even though it's clear as day on the recorder or camera. But if it's like if
exactly because you picked it up, right?
Yeah, if I was to be like going, okay, I'm going to scan the room and a hi, and I'm like, well, hi to anyone that's here. Then I'm like, well, maybe I heard it, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but it's like when I love when there's definitely no response to it because then I'm like, yeah, there was no way this was audible.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, George has a perfect example over there at the Devil's Bridge with his friend's shirt color.
Oh yeah. I had my. We were walking because exercising and walking and we stopped to just catch a breath. I said, let's do it. One of those impromptu EVP sessions. And so I set my phone down and I was like, this is my friend. She's never done this before. She'd really like to hear from somebody. Could you tell me the color of her shirt? And right after that, about 30 seconds later, I said, wouldn't it freak you the F out if someone said the color of your shirt? So we listened back to it, and they did. 2 female voices came across and said blue. That was the color of her shirt, blue. And you clearly hear blue, like 2 totally different females voices say the color blue. But so you never know where you're going to catch an EVP or anything of that nature. But
right.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've caught them by accident. New Year's, we were setting off fireworks, and I got an EVP. I don't remember what it said, but it was clear. So,
Wow.
you never know. Boys and girls, go out there and record.
Yeah. So Ghost Geeks has a question for you two.
Sure.
Do you guys have a favorite location, someplace that just keeps calling you back?
Maddie, I'll let you.
The field. There is a field, and when this was back in my early 30s, there's a spot, same area, Espada area. So it's crazy because there's two missions, and then there's the ghost tracks. Have you ever heard of the ghost tracks in San Antonio? There's
No.
legend.
Wait, is
Go
this
ahead.
the train that supposedly only
Yes.
shows? Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, so that's there. Then we have the missions, and then we have the aqueducts. So there's a bunch of cemeteries in that same area. So it's like a little hub. Well, back in the day, I was driving down that road and I smelled like dead animal. It was something was not alive out there. And I was all like, whoo, I'm going to roll up this window because it stinks. So, keep driving. Don't think about it. Well, later on that day, I'm watching the news and they found a body.
Oh.
So I had inhaled some dead man's juice.
Ugh.
And I was all like, whoo. Well, I always wanted to go investigate. I was all like, I wonder if anything's out there because of what had happened, So I knew it was the exact location because I went back the next day because I'm one of those that wants, I'm nosy. So I'm one of those that goes out there, and I drove by and there was forensics. There was people taking pictures, and there was a cop guarding it. And of course the yellow tape. So I was all like, yeah, it was that area, So then I've always wondered, man, I wonder if there's anything out there. So me and George finally, years later, went out there, and I don't know how many times we've gone back, and there is a highway by there. So it's really hard to hear sometimes, right? But when you hear a voice or a whisper, one time we went out there, we looked up the backstory because I didn't know. I didn't remember. I just remembered that I smelt it and somebody was passed, right? I didn't know the story about it. I didn't know nothing. So we looked it up and we started telling each other like, oh, it was this because, it was the time frame and everything. We go back and we hear, she knows who you are. And that just blew our mind. She knows who you are. And it was crazy. It was just so crazy because you can hear the traffic, but under it.
Yeah.
Under it. It was just so crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's nuts.
One thing that was crazy was we found the kid's picture on MySpace. He still had a MySpace.
Oh my gosh.
And we found his picture. And it was that place. I think didn't I ask, would you like us to bring you flowers next time we come? And it said yeah. They said yes.
Oh.
So I mean, who doesn't want to be remembered?
Right.
Right. And so we haven't been back there in a while, but next time we go, I'm gonna take them more flowers.
But it's always calling. We always think about him. We always think about the place. Now, this is even crazier is that we catch other people. We don't just catch him. We catch women. We catch, kiddos. We catch other things. So we're like, whoa, I wonder what is it about this ground that is it all the graveyards? Is it all the, people coming out here to go to the ghost tracks? Because supposedly it's not real. The ghost tracks isn't real, but so many people believe that it is. So they're going to go out there and they're going to start doing witchcraft, and they're going to start, just putting whatever intent into that. So
Mhm.
now, if it wasn't haunted before,
It's gonna.
you know,
Yep.
Jacked up now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Might have been haunted before, but it's really jacked up now.
But
So
yeah,
it's a great place, yeah.
that field is definitely it's almost like I hate to say it like this, but it almost is like there's a connection now between us and them, and uh, it's especially being our culture. We death in our culture is something celebrated. It's not. I mean, sure you cry, sure but it's every year you have the Dia de los Muertos and that kind of thing. So I don't know what I'm trying to get at. All I'm trying to say is that there is definitely a connection now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was laughingly gonna say when you said there's a connection, is say yeah, because Maddie breathed them in. And I was like,
Did
no, let's keep it a little.
forever in my nostrils.
Mm.
Yeah, careful what you breathe in on investigations, people.
Ugh, poor guy.
So where's your spot, George?
It would be the same spot. I mean, I've got a couple that I like. Um, I definitely like San Juan Capistrano, the Mission San Juan.
Mhm.
Not only because it's just a beautiful place, but we've caught really good evidence there. And when we go exercise or we go walking, that's where we go. And you always get that feeling because you know the history of the area. And but as I wanted to tell you that first investigation I did in 2009, in April of 2009. The weird thing was in April of 2019, I did it again.
Wow.
We investigated her house. She still had stuff going on. Um, she was such a nice lady. Uh,
Mhm.
but so that would have been one of those places. But unfortunately, she has passed on now. And I mean, God bless her and her family. And thank them for inviting us back all these times. Uh,
Yeah.
but there's no one place that just like I have to go back to, except for probably the field, because I feel that connection with them now. And it's not like, oh, they're gonna possess me or nothing like that. It's just that
It's a draw.
yeah, it very much is. It's I'm not gonna say friends, because that's I'll never say that.
Right.
But there is definitely a connection, and it's that field.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
pretty amazing.
So we're actually approaching the end of the hour already. Wow, it's flown by. But I was just curious to see what's next for you guys.
Well, we're gonna rock and roll all night and party every day. Oh man, I just live the dream, and I know we'll talk about that in the future. So stay tuned to find out what my dream is. But
Yay.
man, I'm gonna go out to the Wilson County Jail in July, but that's not till July. So I don't know, man. See what's gonna go on. Other than that, we do Mad G every Thursday. That
Perfect.
yeah, that's our opinion show, and we have you guys on. We talk about paranormal, music, movies, anything
It's
and
a
everything.
fun show.
I will tell you this. We had our own opinion show coming back from where we were at. Me and Maddie, We were
We were scaring people in the car. Let's just put it that way.
they were scared. They were like, "Mom and Daddy arguing," that kind of thing. But it was like I mean, it was a, but it was. Maddie thinks her way and I think my way, and we get in heated debates. We know we're not going to change each other's mind, but we just try to throw, and then afterwards we'll stop and we'll smile at each other and start laughing. Like evil, I don't know, plotting or something is going on.
Like, is it out of your system already?
And then we'll look at each other and go, "No, that's a show."
Yeah.
And so I mean, I didn't remember what I'm supposed to be answering. All I know is that we do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's opinions have become so hard. It's you can't give your opinion anymore. So it's a safe place to give your opinion, get it out there, agree to disagree if need be, and I mean it's just a free space. It's just understood. Okay, we're going to give our opinion, but we're not trying to harm anybody. We're not trying to change your mind. We just want to be heard,
Yeah.
At the end of the call, I still love her and she loves me. You know what I mean? We're friends. That's what
it's all about.
And we're shamelessly plugging it right now at the bottom of the screen.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Check it out. It's a great show.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's always fun when we come on.
Yeah, and we love having you guys on, man.
Too.
Oh, come on, anytime. Y'all got to open the door.
Yep.
Careful, we may pop in unannounced.
That's all right.
That's okay. Trust me. Improv is what it's all about.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Kimmy, and thank you, Debbie.
Debbie, that my girl right there. Thank you, Chris.
I know they're talking about your show, but I'm going to shamelessly plug it was ours.
No, they're talking about here. They're talking about this show.
By association.
They're talking about this. No.
They're talking about y'all show.
Thank you so much, Ghost Geeks.
Ghost Geeks is a great team to investigate with if y'all ever get the chance.
Yeah, man. We just keep going, just planning things here and there, see what comes up next. That's far off.
Thank you, Adam.
What we try and do is figure out places to go. Like I've always wanted to go to Savannah.
That is an amazing spot, especially if you're staying in the historical district. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff going on there. Huh?
There's a long bucket list.
Oh, for sure.
I would say, George, the best way to do that would be create a list of the dream spots along the way and be like one right after the other bucket list road trip.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Get a map and put a little pin by every single place you went.
There you go.
That's it.
That would be awesome, Debbie.
You guys got to get one of these. It's a laminated map. So you could write on it, erase it when you're done, write a new one out.
That's cool. I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, I found it at a gas station on a road trip. I was like, sweet, I am getting this.
Hell yeah.
Even though you have GPS, it's like you can never find out a road trip on a GPS unit, but you can on a laminated map.
One of the places I talked to Annette about going is that, what's it called? The Smoky Mountain State Penitentiary?
I'll go.
Rocky Mountain State Penitentiary.
I love the Smoky Mountains.
Oh yeah, where the mountain is in the back. Yeah, I talked to her about going there.
Is that place in Tennessee or North Carolina?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you.
Smoky Mountain. It could be either.
No, not Smoky. Brushy.
Brushy.
Corrected.
Brushy Mountain.
Smoky Mountain.
Whole different area.
Is that in Tennessee?
Right. It's in
Thank
Tennessee.
you, Annette.
Tennessee. Yay.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Kimmy. She says it's in
Thank
Tennessee.
you, Kimmy.
I
Thank
love
you.
Tennessee.
Carla, I am so jealous of Ghost Geeks. Did you see their itinerary?
Oh,
They're in Salem, Boston, Maine, and Rhode Island, and more next week.
hell yes.
See, we
Man.
all need to do something like that. Take
Well,
a
Next
week
week-
and a half road trip.
Yes.
So one thing about Ghost Geeks that is they can do that is the leader of Ghost Geeks is a pilot and has a plane. So they
No.
hop in the plane and fly to locations.
No.
Yeah,
He's living the life, man.
he is.
It's living everyone's life.
Good on you. Yeah, he's living everybody's life. You
I don't
go,
get
boy.
jealous
You go.
often, but I am so jealous, Ghost Geeks.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Have fun. Have fun for us.
That means we'll see
Yeah.
all kinds of cool posts from them.
Fright flight.
Ooh, great
That would be a
news.
cool deal to open up, man.
Fright flights.
You know what I thought when you said that, man, was you want to see something really scary? What was it?
Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, but could you imagine the deal you could get with somebody? Go, yeah, we'll fly you to Austin, and then we'll take you to this haunted spot, and then we'll fly you back.
Right. That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
Yes.
And then,
But there is one condition though: the gear has to be light because he is limited on weight.
I imagine.
Ah.
Take a voice recorder and a flashlight.
There you go.
Yeah,
You
and
get
your phone.
That's
You're
really all
set.
you need.
a voice recorder, a flashlight, one change of clothes, and that's about it. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Oh,
Oh
my
my goodness.
All right, everyone. We're at an hour and 7 minutes, so unfortunately, it's come to the end of the show to where we got to unfortunately say goodbye to our awesome guests, even though
We'll
we're
have
having
you back on.
Yes, and you guys come back on too.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
this is unusual that we're not scheduled on each other's.
I know. I was waiting for after the trip, and now I can
Yeah.
fill in my.
I meant to take my schedule so I could do some on the side with people,
Right.
and I was like, I got in the car and I realized it's on my desk.
Oh man.
So I'm like, I could write down, but I'm like, I hope this date's still free. I hope this date is free.
Yeah. Well,
Right on.
been fun.
Thank you for having us on. I appreciate it. I had a blast,
Thank you for coming
man.
on. It was a great,
I have a
great,
blast
show.
itself.
great chat with you.
As you guys said about having the open door, you have an open door on ours as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hugs, long distance hugs.
Hugs.
It's hugs.
That's going to become the new thing now.
Yeah.
On the podcast show.
Hugs. But
Well, you guys have a great night, and we'll stay in touch when it comes to future investigations and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what I just realized, Carla? As much as Ghost Geeks is talking about what they're doing next week, they're on our show next week, even amongst all that. So we should be getting some good stories.
Yeah, we're gonna get to hear all about it. That's gonna
We
be awesome.
are.
it's good to hear all about them plane rides. Woo.
Great.
Good night. Positive vibes, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everyone. And if you're going to be investigating this week and weekend, do it safely. Do it with respect. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Mwah.